I'm going to tell y'all why I personally don't like buying gold chains at pawn shops. Okay. Now, when it comes to trade ins, maybe I'm more open to that. But buying off the bat with the prices they have, hell no. It's always going to be something that will be negotiated because these places know most people don't know shit about gold. And it's not until they kind of catch on that, oh, they're asking questions that only people that really know about this stuff would ask. And then they kind of start to be a little bit more honest about it. And there's not really much of that like bravado of like, oh yeah, no, this is really good. Like that's so durable. You know what I'm saying? So this past week, I went to some pawn shops. My eyes came across a 3mm Miami Cuban link chain, solid 14 karat gold. There's a box lock on it. I think it's 22 inches, weighs maybe a little over 20 grams or something like that. And for reference, this chain you see around my neck, also a 3mm Miami Cuban link chain, except this one is solid 22 karat gold, 20 grams flat, 17 inches. Now, I looked at the price tag on the hang tag they had for their chain, $2,799. Okay, this chain, brand new, at 18 inches, so longer and heavier, you can get for under $2,400. So, and like just to make things like give you more insight, 22 karat gold is 91.6% gold purity. That's 91.6% gold in the chain. 14 karat gold is only 58.5% gold in that chain, and then it's mixed with a bunch of other alloys, right? So, and this is outside of pawn shops for a second. A lot of these jewelers, they market low purity and they give high premiums on low purity, saying that, oh, it's more durable, it's this. And they charge up the ass for low purity gold. So there's a reason why there's a big stereotype and people think, oh, that, jewelers rip people off because they can get away with it. They know people are going to just like drop it because they don't understand. But anyways, with pawn shops, I understand that they have to, they have to pay their rent. They have to keep the lights on. So, they're going to bump up the price more so that they can do those things. But that's why I prefer shopping online, because I don't have to worry about that cost. Like I have my go-to guy for gold. And for example, that chain, I went to look it up on his website, that same exact chain, because most of these places, these pawn shops, these gold shops, they typically buy from the same like 3 manufacturers. So usually that gold is, if it's machine made, usually coming from the same places. On my guy's website, that chain was going for like $1,076. Brand new. Okay? So it's just, it's one of those things. And you know what? When I was there and I was inspecting the chains and stuff like that, he was like, are you part of the industry? You in the industry? I was like, I mean, I don't want to say that. And he's like, because you're asking questions like, you know what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden it was kind of a bit, like we were more leveled, So it's again, like I'm not going to knock on pawn shops entirely, right? Because the thing is, I'm sure that if I wanted to go in and negotiate more on that level, something good could come out of it. And I'm sure that there are places that maybe aren't charging that high with stuff, but just from my experience, because I know these places have to keep the lights on. They have to, they're paying for their rent, their bills, all the electricity, all that sort of stuff. So they're putting, they're charging higher for these pieces. But when I'm seeing a price tag like that, to me, it just feels wrong. I'm like, because people will come in and they're like 2,700. Like if I were to feign that sort of obliviousness, right? Like I've observed some people in these situations, they'll be like, dang, 2,700? And they're like, yeah, because that's a Miami Cuban link chain. You know how hard it is to make Miami Cuban link chains? But get this, that chain, it's machine made. That's not a handmade Cuban link chain, but they'll talk it up like, oh, that's a very hard chain to make. It takes a lot of time, so you're paying for the labor. But when I asked that guy, I was like, is this machine made? He's like, yeah, they don't make those handmade at that millimeter. There are places that actually do. In Miami, typically with, just so you guys know, with Miami Cuban links, usually upwards of like 4mm, like 5mm will be more handmade, but you could still get it machine made. But stuff like that, they'll say, you know what I mean? So, and as a consumer, when you don't really know that stuff, you're like, okay, yeah, I guess it's what you're paying for. It's like the same way that you see people, they'll buy designer jewelry And they'll just say, oh, well, you know, you're paying for the luxury, you're paying for this. You try to sell that gold, like that designer gold jewelry to like a gold shop, whatever, they don't give a shit. They're going to pay for the value of the gold. And if that gold is like 14 karat, even 18 karat, you're not going to get, I think if y'all have seen that video that's been going viral about that guy's Cartier bracelet, 6.1 grams, 18 karat gold, just so you know, like I think the gold value itself of that, I know she said 700, but I think it's even under 500 just for like the gram weight to 18 karat, right? So that was much like a higher number than I was expecting her to say, but still. And he paid $3,400 for that. So it's just, you know what I mean? If you want to get gold, educate yourself on it. If you have the ability to go higher purity, I recommend doing higher purity. Of course, at the end of the day, you buy what suits your skin tone, what you like. But if you're someone that's going for value, get the higher purity piece and do your research.